Hi.
We're going to wait a little bit and see because we're early, so hopefully we can get some more members on here and we'll talk about, wow, what a weekend for wrestling, huh, Deborah?
Absolutely. And wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, we had Clash of the Castle. We had NXT Worlds Collide. We had All Out. And then we had the CM Punk. Hi, Peyton.
Hi, Peyton.
We had the CM Punk thing at the Media Scrum. If you haven't seen that, wow.
You need to see it. It's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And Tony Khan's expressions during the whole thing is priceless. But what do you guys want to talk about? What matches do you want to talk about? Because we could sit here and talk all, like I had talked about how Dominic Mysterio was going to turn heel a few months back. We didn't know what the storyline was or how it was going to go, but he's turning heel because Ray is getting ready to retire. And Ray was going to stay with Dominic until he felt comfortable enough to be in the ring on his own.
On his own and, let Dominic do what he does best.
Yeah. So that was interesting that he turned heel. But technically, the way they had it planned is that it's going to have something to do with the Eddie Guerrero storyline. Because, back in the day, they said Dominic was Eddie's son and not Ray's.
And it was a big thing. And they even had Dominic Mysterio a part of it when he was a little kid.
Yeah.
It was really good, though, I have to say.
And I have to tell you, oh my gosh, we were at Worlds Collide. And I have to tell you that we actually had tickets for the Regal AEW showing. And I'm ashamed to say this, but we left Orlando, and it takes us 3.5 hours to get from Orlando to Gainesville at 6:40 that evening. We were in Gainesville at 8:30. So we were literally flying to get there. And we get to the Regal Cinemas, and they can't get AEW showing.
Yeah.
So we had to come home. We had to order the pay-per-view. And yes, I totally agree about MJF returning.
Yes.
But how did you feel about the phone call that that he had with the conversation with Tony being broadcast within the audience? Tony did address that. He said that he did not know that they were going to put that on as MJF came out in the media scrum. And somebody had asked him in the audience, in the media thing, that why did you even bother to bring him back? And he thought that because people enjoyed MJF so well, and he plays a great heel. Deborah, what do you think?
Plays a great heel. Love to hate him. But he's very annoying.
Yeah.
He's very annoying. To the point you just want to scream at him.
She was saying that, they were she just should have let him go. I don't know.
I'm like this. He was giving such a chaos. Let's put it.
Yeah.
Chaos to Tony Khan.
And
the other thing is, every time that MJF would come out, he would always mention about Tony Khan. Don't mention about your boss.
Right. Well, and here's another thing that we'll never understand is that Soho from NXT 2.0, who is brothers of the Usos. Now, it's been documented way over and over. Solo doesn't want anything to do with the Usos. So, the fact that WWE brought him into Clash of the...
And not only Clash of the Castle, however, but also had him to come and help Roman Reigns.
That doesn't make sense. Why would
to me, it's like a kick in the face.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to be associated with the Usos, even though they're brothers. So why would Soho even agree with this, other than it moves him out of NXT and into the main roster?
Well, that might be true, but I mean, even like after Solo came out, did
Right.
what he did,
Right,
and was walking back with Roman Reigns,
right.
they just kept looking at each other like Solo was so mad.
Yeah, yeah.
He just looked so mad and so angry. And then Roman, they looked like they couldn't even stand each other.
No. No,
I mean,
no.
if you're reading face expressions.
And then let's talk about when we were at the Performance Center last night, well, yesterday afternoon. Because it was filmed. And everybody saw Deborah's picture on Twitter of Sam with her and Sam Roberts, huh? That was so nice of him.
Yes, thank you, Sam.
Anyway, so the one thing that I want to say, if you saw Tyler Bates and Braun Breaker, that was a match and a half. Oh my gosh. That match, Tyler gave it everything he had.
Plus.
And you could tell that he was so disappointed that he lost.
Yeah.
And you kind of, once you got there, you kind of knew who was going to win and who wasn't going to win.
Mm.
I mean, like, we knew right off the bat that Mandy was going to win.
I was hoping not. But
Yeah, we were hoping not, but...
I knew she was going to win, but,
Yeah.
you know, I was really hoping that maybe she'd lose because I think it's time for a new NXT Women's title holder.
And here's something that we want to mention, too. Blair Davenport. Now, Deborah had mentioned to me that she had saw Blair Davenport with Will Ospreay. Does anybody know that if they've been dating or have dated in the past? Because she was saying that she saw Will Ospreay do a promo and Blair Davenport was in it, but she didn't have her hair two-tone in color.
She didn't have her hair in two-tone, and it was just of Will Ospreay and Davenport holding his arm up, but it looked very much like they were a couple.
Wow.
And you know, I always just took it as, well, they look like a couple to me.
Yeah.
You know, I
Yeah.
mean.
But that would be interesting too.
Yeah, I think that personally, I think it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Because you know, AEW, NXT.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and there's not very many people besides maybe Kenny Omega who don't like Will Ospreay.
Yeah. And we kind of, you know, with the tag team, we kind of knew that Jensen and Briggs were going to lose that just in the way the match was running. Once again, you can see our pictures on Twitter. I took a lot of pictures yesterday. So I was tweeting up the yin yang, and the fact that I called Sam Roberts with Deborah, because he was standing right next to her, chatting with her, and I'm like, oh, okay.
He was chatting with me, and my mom was Miss Debbie was doing what she was doing with Twittering, and I was talking to Sam, and my mom Debbie just turned around and said, "Huh? What? That's Sam Roberts."
Yeah.
That's Sam Roberts.
Yeah.
I'm like, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we were talking to Aisha and Kelly and a lot of the people that work behind the scenes at WWE. Also, I was surprised getting back to also All Out last night. That was, wow, what a pay-per-view that was. And Full Gear is going to be in New Jersey. I just kind of thought that was kind of weird because they're going to do Rampage and then Full Gear on a Saturday instead of a Sunday. And normally, correct me if I'm wrong, Thanksgiving is one of the biggest wrestling weekends that there is. There's WrestleCons, especially there's a huge WrestleCon in in North Carolina. I
Mhm.
can't think of the city right now, but a huge wrestling convention during Thanksgiving weekend. And of course, AEW is heading back to Daly's Place. We will be there, so yeah, we hate that it's the last one, but we're
Yeah.
hoping that they'll do a pay-per-view soon down here in Florida. Come to Florida.
Yes.
Come back to your home. You need
It's
to go
not
home.
a bad place, we promise.
Anyway, the other interesting thing I thought was Carmelo Hayes and Ricochet. That match at Worlds Collide lasted forever. It seemed like it went on and on and on and on. And those guys gave it everything. Ricochet.
Ricochet's gonna be hurting.
Yeah, I never seen, and we have seen him before. We saw him back in 2016 at the at Full Sail. And speaking of the Performance Center, have you guys heard the news that they're thinking of building another WWE Performance Center? And this one will have like a touristy atmosphere where they'll have like a museum type things for artifacts that they have from wrestlers. They'll have like they'll have the regular performance centers, and they'll have other things there. So it'll be more of like a tourist attraction. Has anyone heard of that? No? Yeah, they're thinking about, they've got 4 cities in mind. They have Nashville, Atlanta, Tampa, and then I guess Orlando. But I thought, wow, I never thought about Nashville, but Nashville, they're doing a lot of wrestling in Nashville these days.
They are.
And the fact that the Performance Center, if you guys ever went there, it's not very big.
Mm-mm.
So the fact that they wanted to relocate it somewhere else doesn't surprise us.
No, not at all.
Now, speaking of surprises, how about Samoa Joe at All Out? Did anyone suspect that coming?
I was hoping for it.
You were hoping for
I was
it?
hoping for it because it's Samoa Joe,
Yeah.
you know, and lots of people like Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Of course, not people that's going against him,
Yeah.
but you know, he's he's someone that the crowd really likes.
And what about when Penta threw Andrade the flip on top of the ladder, and the ladder didn't give?
I thought it was awesome.
That was just like, I'm like, oh my God, I thought sure that ladder would have broke.
Yes, I did too. I'm surprised that it didn't break.
Right.
But I have to say too, there was another match that was at All Out. Ishii and Eddie Kingston. Wow. Now, I was very impressed and surprised by how Eddie Kingston was. He did, I think, a remarkable job during that match. And I have to say that both wrestlers gave all the respect that they could to each other after the match. Because after the match, everybody was cheering for them. Eddie Kingston, Ishii, and Eddie Kingston actually won. And I was very happy about that. But Eddie Kingston was such a gentleman because he was like, no, and pointing at Ishii, like the fans needed to give it up for Ishii. And I just thought that was so cool, you know, very respectful, you know, and just awesome.
I haven't seen the pre-show yet. I still need to do 0 Hour yet. Deborah saw it, but I haven't. Let's see, what else can we briefly talk about before we sign off from here? Oh, we have lots of things coming up. Deborah and I, we were we're also big movie goers.
Yes.
We were at the theater today, and I got the notice from YouTube that today marks our first year, and we just looked at each other and
We're like, wow.
yeah, it hasn't really been a year. It doesn't seem like it, it just seems like yesterday. Oh, and before I forget, we saw our friend, who's training to be a wrestler.
Wrestler.
He's done Live Up a
Live
couple
Up.
of times.
Mhm.
And I asked him about, Halloween Havoc. They've already gave the date. It's going to be on the Saturday, October 22nd, which is funny because AEW is going to be in town on the 21st. Anyway, Halloween Havoc on the 22nd, which is a Saturday. And he was like, I didn't know that. I'm like, WWE doesn't even let you know when they're coming out with pay-per-views or things or, anything. And he was like, no, we are last to know. Speaking of last to know, those invitations that WWE sends out were supposed to go out Thursday. We didn't get our invitation until Saturday night at 6 p.m. to go the next day. That's how close they ran it. They really keep a lot of people in the dark. Like, they're not allowed to go on YouTube or watch other wrestling organizations, supposedly. And they really don't know, because, like, we've asked them many times, hey, did you hear about so-and-so, so-and-so? And they're like,
No.
no. When
What
did that happen? And we're like, well, this is what happened. And the other thing, I have mentioned to you guys about Trent Seven, because we were huge fans of Mustache Mountain.
Yes.
And we just found out that what happened to Trent Seven, it's basically the same thing that happened with
Marty
Squirrel. He's been accused of dating an underage girl. And that's why you haven't seen him in wrestling at all. And this happened back in 2017. And we wonder what broke Mustache Mountain up because they were so popular.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I would like to thank you guys so much for watching, subscribing. You guys are awesome. You have no idea what it means to me. And I just wanted to say thank you.
How am I supposed to compete with that? Oh, can you see our background? Let's see. We live across the street from a lake, so I thought that was a better view than, the TV or something. We got to get better background pictures. I hate using fake background pictures like so many other wrestlers do. So, but anyway, yeah, you kind of, behind all those trees is a huge lake. And it's full of gators too. But anyway, thanks for watching, subscribing, and as always,
Bye for now.